So, a very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you to the Storm Report, Episode 8 for November 1st, 2021. And we are live from the Tower Grill, 6:30 start, as usual, right here from the Tower Grill at Arizona Christian University. What a campus it is, 1 West Firestorm Way. I'm your program host, Kevin Derryberry, and my co-host is Ed Cole. In just a moment, we'll bring up Mr. Ed Cole. Let's set you up on tonight's program, another jam-packed program this evening. We're going to talk a little ACU football, moved in the top 25. We'll talk with head coach Jeff Bowen about that. But it's all about the 42-35 victory over Oklahoma Panhandle State. Come from behind victory on Saturday afternoon. It was grandiose. We'll get into that here on the program. Our guest here, besides the head coach, Jeff Bowen, will join by Craig Martin IV. He'll join us as well. He'll be on set here on our second segment. We'll also be joined by the center, the brains of the operation, Mr. Ryan Vanderwerf. He'll join us on the program as well with Craig Martin IV. And what else we got going on? We got some other stuff. We're going to congratulate Mr. Jeff Rudder, picked up career win number 200. And a few other things here on the Storm Report. And without further ado, Ed Cole, good evening, my friend.
Mr. Derryberry, good evening. Coach B, good evening.
Mr. Bowen, congratulations. Welcome to the program once again. And I got to think that you woke up Sunday morning, that first step out of bed, that had to have been like almost a hop. Like you must have felt really good, a strong bounce on Sunday morning after a come-from-behind, thrilling victory as it was.
Actually, it was more of a step out of the chair in the bus.
Oh, we
were still on the bus when I woke up.
You weren't home.
Sunday
Okay.
morning, but,
all right.
But, it was the bottom line is we got the win. I mean, if you look across the NAI on Saturday was, moving day.
It was. Upset Saturday.
7 ranked teams went home with losses. And you can say all you want. We got the win. So we're not one of those 7 or the 8th one that got bumped. So we'll take the win. Did we play well? No, we didn't. But we found a way to win it late. The guys executed some key stuff in the second half. First half, it's just one of those. We weren't playing well. We just were not clicking offensively, defensively. And the key to the game was our special teams were lights out. They were just the best game we've had. I can't remember a special teams game at ACU. They just kept us in the game.
And you were a little bit shorthanded, too. You lost your punter before the ball game. No Sean Bailey for this one. He was ill. And so you had to ask for some guys to step up and do some things that they weren't typically accustomed to doing. Now, Abiolipe, he's one of those guys that you're probably referring to. He kicked the heck out of the ball. 6 for 6 in point after tries. And he booted the ball in the end zone, 3 touchbacks. And then he also punted the ball inside the 20-yard line for you.
I tell you, he was huge. That's why he was Player of the Week
in
the conference.
Good enough to be the Sooner Athletic Conference Special Teams Player of the Week.
But, yeah, you mentioned the 6 for 6, which was huge. But his kickoffs were outstanding. We didn't let it hang down the middle of the field. He put three touchbacks, and then our kick coverage was phenomenal. Shout out to our freshman, Rocket. He did
Maurice,
yes. Did a phenomenal job returning the ball and covering kicks. And then in the punt game, he was 41-yard average and was burying them deep and just flipping the field. It was just a really, really solid special teams effort.
And one other point, the defense, right? The defense made enough plays. If you look at the numbers, you say, I don't see how ACU won this football game. But that's why they play 4 quarters. Mm-hmm. That's why you play all 3 phases of the game. And that's why your defense pitched the shutout in the 4th quarter, and your offense put up 21 points. That was maybe the turning point in this one.
Yeah, and don't take anything away from OPSU. If you really study how they played football this year so far, yeah, they don't have a winning record, but they have played people extremely tough. They're playing young players. They got a freshman quarterback who's really going to be something special. 10-7 with Langston, stuff like that. So they're a building football team, and I'm glad we got out of there with the win. Because statistically, you look at all the numbers, you're like, nah.
Yeah.
But we got the W and. Have some barbecue and come home.
Yeah, you look at 500 yards, you're like, oh, my gosh, OPSU is 32 first downs. You're like, not really good. But in that 4th quarter, Coach, outscored, as you mentioned, 21-0. Did you have to say anything to the men going into the fourth quarter, or did they kind of take it upon themselves? They knew what they had to do in the fourth quarter.
Our guys know. I'm not a big rah-rah speech guy. That's not my style, as you guys probably know. I mean, I'll say what I need to say when I need to say it. But we talked at halftime. We knew where we were at, and we settled down. We did some good things in the third quarter too, but we really settled in at the start at the end of the third quarter, moving into the fourth. We got things going. The defense was getting stops. I think we set a record for our most sacks in the game. We got after the quarterback
with eight.
And kudos to the offensive line. We in that fourth quarter we went to our two-back stuff, and we were still throwing the ball some, but we got the running game going. And like that last touchdown drive, 8 out of the 9 plays were run plays and punch it in for the win. So, we found a way to get it done, and that's what good teams do. So I'm proud of the guys for finding that within themselves because, like I said, there were 7 teams that, were not happy this morning on where they were in the polls or even if they were in the polls anymore. So we're still fighting. We're still in the hunt.
Coach, you mentioned those 8 runs on that final drive. How important was it to have that clock management, especially on that drive, but just for the entire course of the game leading up to Tyler's last 10-yard run to win the game?
Well, it was vital. I mean, like I said, we were having trouble. They're playing the game too. They were taking away some things and making life hard on some of the stuff we like to do. But our line was able to lean on their defensive front in the box. They were giving us a light box at times because they were worried about our pass game, and we were able to lean on them. And Cole and Aiden did a nice job running the football, and Jason Kersel, our blocking fullback, he did a really nice job behind the line. And then our receivers were doing an outstanding job when we got it on the edge. Tyler was able to – it was actually similar to a boot type pass, play action type thing, and was able to get on the edge and run it in for the lead.
Coach, the stable of running backs that you have here at AC right now is as good as any that I've seen that I've been a part of this program. And the one thing about these guys is tremendous character on and off the field. That goes without question. But you talk about big play threats and the fact that any one of these guys between Alex York, Cole Davis, and Aiden Quinn, among the other guys that have chipped in as well, they're all home run type threats. One carry, one burst, one play, one block. It could be 6 points for your football team. That's got to be comforting.
It's a really high quality room, and no offense to the other guys that have played. We've had really, really good backs, but
yes,
right now we're sitting with 12 backs in that room, and we're a one-back offense. So for those guys to buy into what we do, how we do it, knowing that their time may come later, or they may have just a set skill set. I mean, like Alex York has some special skills that we've used, and
yes, he does,
and he produces. Anyone that knows when Cole's in the game, you better strap it up a little tighter because he's going to hit you in the mouth. So they all have their unique skills and ability to mix it up, and like you said, in any given point in time, hit a home run. And that's. Hey, I'll take those fast ones, score it quick, and get the defense back on the field.
No doubt about it. And we talk about game script. That always comes to play here for your guys. So it depends on how things are going to go, on who you're going to go to and who you're going to lean on. But I got to get back to the defense real quick here. Jake Farrell, Sooner Athletic Conference Player of the Week. He missed the game before, and he showed up with a vengeance. 9 solo tackles. He assisted on another 5.5 sacks. I'm getting kind of giddy here. Just talk about this. 5.5 sacks. It's a program record and it's an individual team record. That just doesn't happen. And you mentioned it already. Why wasn't he the National Player of the Week? That's the question. He was instrumental. Tell us about his play throughout the game and just how dynamic it was to watch him do what he did.
Well, it was nice to get Jake back on the field. He missed the game the week before with some issues. He came in really focused, and he played extremely well, And what's funny is, it's not funny. It's just a tribute to our guys. Most of that late third quarter, fourth quarter, we sat in our base defense and we're mixing coverages a little bit, but most of it was just a 4-man rush, and it was just him and the other three guys just getting after it, and he was tearing it up. Their left tackle had a rough afternoon.
I bet he did.
Yes, he did.
And when you get an account for Maurice Powell and Martin Rodriguez, the whole group,
sure.
That's just going to free somebody up. Ed?
Yeah, yep. And Jalen Mitchell played a really good football game, and Deontay played well too, and those were some key things. Like, we were subbing them in like hockey exchanges, and it was key late in the game. That last drive, we had 4 out there. They were getting a little tired. Coach Harris made a quick exchange. We put 4 more on the field. We got the sack right there, bang, and now they're behind the chains, and we get the stop. So the defensive line did a nice job.
Keith Sewell must be proud, no doubt about it. I guess we're getting the word, Ed. We need to move this program along here. JB, we have a regimented schedule here. We've got to hit the numbers.
Yeah, our executive producers, look, we got to break.
In and out of here. Last couple points, 42-35 victory. You are now 4-2 all-time against the Aggies, and you possess a 4-game win streak against the Aggies as well. 6-2 overall, 5-2 in the Sooner Athletic Conference. This win meant a lot. We'll talk more about Langston a little bit later in the show, but this was a huge victory for the Firestorm. And as I mentioned, you're now 6-2, 5-2 in the SAC. More with Jeff Bowen after this. We're going to talk Langston with the coach here in a couple segments. Welcome back to the Storm Report. We are live from the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University. I'm Kevin Derryberry. He's Ed Cole on the far side. And in between both of us on the set here is Craig Martin IV and Ryan Vanderwerf. Craig Martin IV from Compton, California, and for Ryan Vanderwerf out of Brentwood, California. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you guys, and let's get right to it. 42-35 win. You guys come from behind, 21 points in that fourth quarter. Ryan, take us through it from your vantage point. Coach had mentioned about the solid play, about the boys up front, and with the solid running game and the fact that we've got guys can take the distance any one particular play. You have an awful lot to do with that as you anchor that offensive line. Take us through the emotions of winning that game.
Yeah, no, it was huge. Having the guys I have next to me, easy. I point out where I'm working to, the point of the defense, and the guys around me get the job done. So it really does make my life super easy. We established the running game pretty early, showing them that we can run the ball. Again, our offense complements each other real well, right? So if we're not running the ball well, our pass game's going to get it done. On Saturday, it was just the run game that ended up getting it done for us in the end. So it was huge for the offensive line. I think we needed that as a group, and it was just awesome to be a part of, especially that last drive we had.
It really was. That's what we call a clutch fourth quarter drive right there,
Yep.
and you were able to punch it in. I think Coach B said 8 or 9 plays were running plays. That's how you want to solidify a game and finish a game.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it was huge. A little bit tiring, but it was worth it in the end to get that big win.
Ryan,
Craig?
I'm sorry, Kev.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I was just looking at the plays run. 68 plays. The offense ran 35 passes, 33 runs. So that pretty much 1-to-1 ratio from run to pass. Just talk about the importance of, as you mentioned, establishing that run. We know Coach B, he likes to his motto is he wants to run the football. He wants to do smash mouth football, run the ball right through you with the running backs that the team has. Just talk about the importance of establishing that running game and what it can do for an offense and what it can do for a football team.
Yeah, no, it's important to establish the run, especially early, for a physicality standpoint, to let the defense know that we're going to be in their face all night long. It also opens up the pass because if we start running the ball well, right, they're going to stack the box a little bit more, open some things up for John Cole, Tyler, Sid. Just the amazing receivers that we have. Again, and then it opens up the play action pass. So teams we're such a balanced offense that teams have to worry about so much from us. And it really just opens everything else up. So it's really important that we establish the run game early. We also establish the pass game, the play action game, everything. So,
Mr. Martin, Craig Martin IV, playing that secondary, it's a little bit of a different vibe in the Central Athletic Conference. There's a lot of guys and a lot of football teams that can really sling it in this league. What has been your point of view as you want to play defense in the secondary for ACU, and how are guys like Riley Tucker and Antonio Horace and other guys like that, Mr. Ortiz, just helped you have a blossoming type year, and a year that you could say that you finished second on the team with 7 tackles and a big win and a come-from-behind win. But if you would just describe your play and your role on this football team.
I would say that basically we all eat off each other. Me and Riley, we kind of communicate a lot because he's kind of, he's a vet, and this is my first year starting. So he's kind of teaching me the ropes of how to be able to call the defense and help everybody out and make sure everybody do their assignment right. So, yeah, that's just a big role for me to play this year.
Craig, for you, last season you played all 11 games, 1 start, and you helped lead the team to a SAC conference, to a SAC championship. What did that experience, that entire season last year, your freshman season, all the success that you had as a football team and what you were able to do, how did that serve you well as you come into this season as your sophomore season? How did that get you prepared for what you were able to do this season, at least so far? You're doubling up your numbers so far. Through 7 games, you got 35 tackles, which is double what you had last season. So your production level is increasing as your time increases here.
I would say from last year and this year, I'll say the experience level has helped a lot. Like, say, for instance, my tackles, I have improved more in my tackles because, like, I'll say because
Game script.
There's a lot to it, isn't it?
yeah, it's a lot to it, man.
because I do his hair.
I would say, can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, just your growth from year 1 to year 2, the success that you had and what you were able to do through playing all 11 games in your freshman season. Of course, that's a lot of pressure for a freshman to play all these 11 games, and now you come into your sophomore season and you continue on with your production level back there in the secondary.
Okay, so yeah, based off my freshman year, it was more like I'll come in more packages and help out with certain situations, but now I'm more involved with the defense. I'm more starting position. I'm always in there helping everybody, make sure everybody knows what they're supposed to do, no matter the situation. And I'll say my confidence level and everything I do has improved over the past year or two. That's why I'll say the reason my tackling is better, because I'm more confident and more fearless, and when I come down the hill and make a play.
That's a fantastic answer, and we can see that on the field, being more confident, running downhill, making plays, being a good defender of the pass, breaking passes up. So you've definitely emerged, and you can see your play on the field. Ryan, I'm going to ask you, we talk about pancakes, right? Pancakes up front. Is that an overblown stat? Is it an overused term? How often do we really get to see the pancakes? I know Coach B, an old offensive line coach with Joe Parker and company, but describe the pancake and that feeling that you get when that happens, and how often does it occur for you, my friend?
Yeah. Pancakes are fun for us, right? Putting somebody on their back. I think it is an overblown stat because you don't want to pancake somebody every play because it can kind of mess up the play. It can clog a hole up. You can roll somebody up. Mm-hmm. I've realized over the last probably couple of years it's more important just to do your job, drive a guy upfield 3, 4, 5 yards rather than pancake him right off the ball. It just creates problems, closes holes. Over the past couple games, though, I think we put some people on their back, which is an awesome stat. Probably each of us 3, 4, 5.
But that feeling.
Yeah.
Describe that feeling when you have just overpowered the opponent. And
it's good. You get a nice little crawl. You know what I'm saying? You let them know. You put them in the ground. You do a little swim, crawl over them, let them know you're there. Pick them up, smile at them, and let them know you'll be back the next play.
I would ask Seamart the same question, but I'll just ask you first. What are your responsibilities as an offensive lineman, a captain, the heartbeat of the offensive line? You've got some more responsibility other than just snapping it back to the quarterback. You also, you work out of the pistol quite a bit, so it's a shotgun snap. What are the challenges for you to call out certain plays, look for blockers? What's your responsibilities as the captain of the offensive line, so to speak?
I'd say my responsibility is just in the week leading up to the game, letting the guys know what our goal is and why we're doing what we're doing. So I have to understand why we're doing what we're doing, how we're going to do it, and how we're going to actually get it done in the game, right? So it's my responsibility to let the guys know what we're doing, make sure they know what they're doing, so we can just go out there and perform. I just call out the point where we're working to every play, our protection, and then if the defense changes last minute, I have some help from our tackles, or we can make a quick adjustment. It's my job is basically just to make everybody else's life easier, so we can roll through, and the great guys around me, they get it done. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys.
True football purists know what a center does and some of the challenges that you have, the nuances of calling a game, but not everybody knows how intricate it is and the brains that you have to do that.
So, C-Mart, for you, based off what 5-3 said, how do you see your role expand as far as you being vocal, like whether it's in the film room or in the practice or on the sidelines before a game as you guys are getting warmed up or in the game? Have you experienced your leadership level kind of increase, even though you're still a sophomore? You've got a lot more time to grow in this program, but do you see yourself being more vocal and be a guy that can say, okay, Riley, let's run it this way. Hitman, let's run it this way. Let's do this. I see the offense has tendencies to do this and that. How are you able to kind of jump in there and put your 2 cents in?
I'll say I'm more vocal, more like game day wise. I'll talk to the guys, tell them like what we need to do, because everybody know what we need to do. Everybody prepared. Coaches do a great job of breaking down everything we need to do, stay prepared for the week and our opponent. So everybody know what to do. Everybody got the same mentality. Everybody know that we need to get the job done. But mostly I'll say, during the game I'll be more vocal. Let everybody know that. Stay on top of the game. Somebody scored. Next play, lead out the play. Next drive, whatever. We got to keep going. At the end of the day, we got to play 4 quarters.
Craig Martin the fourth, Ryan Vanderwerf joins us here on the Storm Report, our episode 8. This is the first day of November. And my next question for Mr. Martin, and that is out of Narbonne High School, huh?
Yes, sir.
A couple years back, huh? Good to have you here. When you practice, do you practice against John Cole? And what's that like? And is there any chatter that goes on in practice? Because we know what it's like. We see JC7 do his thing on the field on game days. But what's it like in practice going against him?
J. Cole's a character. You're going to hear him all the time. You score, you're going to hear his mouth. So we try to keep him out of the end zone as much as possible we can. But, he's going to do his thing regardless. But, it's always an honor going against J. Cole in practice because I feel like he's one of the receivers out there that always help me get better, whether
Absolutely.
It's in a 7-on-7 team or one-on-ones. We always helping each other get better.
Fantastic. My last one for you, Craig, is that when you're in that moment where you get to think about what you're going to do in the game, your next game, what do you visualize C-Mart doing? What do you see yourself doing when you think about that?
I always visualize myself at least getting one pick a game.
Okay.
I always visualize myself doing that. But if not, always make sure, always remember certain key plays that teams run. So I always visualize that stuff before the game. Make sure I know the certain calls and keys on plus the read before the play starts.
Does that pick include a trip to the end zone?
Yes, most of
Always.
the time I plan on getting a pick. I always
Pick
try
six,
to get
yes.
it in the end zone.
Think about that, Craig. You can you have a chance to score a touchdown. Vandy, he might not ever get a chance to score a touchdown at this level right now. So you got that
Vandy's
on.
good with that.
Scoop and score.
It's possible.
Hey, Vandy. So I was instructed to ask this question, so I'm gonna ask it. This offensive line, you guys are some different dudes, man. Talk about the relationship that you guys have. Whether it's on the bus trips, the plane rides, on the sidelines, the interesting, unique relationship offensive linemen have with each other.
Oh yeah, we're some weird dudes. Unfortunately, Craig is a roommate with our left guard, so he sees some of that. We go in there before practice, chop it up. I'm not
Isaiah?
too sure. Kalen Merriman.
Oh, Kalen, okay.
Yeah, so me, Luke, Kel, we'll go in there before practice, chop it up. Some tickle fights might happen. Who knows? But we're all really close, man. It's awesome to be a part of such a great group of guys. Take California trips together. We're eating out, probably more than my bank account should allow a week. Just coming over to the house, I cook for a lot of the guys, and Kel cooks for a lot of the guys, and we just have an awesome time together.
But those relationships are priceless, aren't they?
Priceless. I never thought I'd meet coming to ACU. It's like, I'm gonna have fun, play football. I never thought I'd meet the best men at my wedding and people that I really have lifelong relationships with. I mean, they're my best friends, that O-line room.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. That's the Sooner Athletic Conference second-team player from a year ago, Ryan Vanderwerf. Craig Martin, the fourth, also joined us on the set. You guys, a real quick one as we segue to head coach Jeff Bowen as we talk about Langston and we preview Langston. They suffered a pretty big loss this week, and they lost to Louisiana College, and it was significant. When you think about the race and where everybody's headed in the Sooner Athletic Conference and maybe the NAIA postseason, your thoughts on Langston real quick?
Yeah, the parity obviously in our conference is pretty high. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. Langston, they're a good squad. They have good guys everywhere. They keep it simple, which is good for us. But on the flip note, they keep it simple because they have great athletes. So it's not going to come down to anything else but execution on Saturday. We can execute the simple things. We could win the line of scrimmage. We could throw the ball. We'll be good to go. We'll be rolling to another victory.
Mark, for you, what do you see from their offense, and what's the key to victory for the Firestorm defense once you guys get to Oklahoma again?
For defense, I'll say we just got to start off fast. We just got to let them know that we're not coming out there to play with them. We just got to step on their neck as we get out there. And, that's all.
Just
Simple.
simplify it.
Simple.
It doesn't get any sweeter than that
Simple,
right there.
folks.
From C-Mart the fourth and Ryan Vanderwerf. Gentlemen, thank you for being a part of the Storm Report and continued success in the classroom and, of course, on the field.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Appreciate it.
Jeff Bowen, straight ahead. We're going to preview Langston right after this. Welcome back inside the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University. I'm Kevin Derryberry. He's Ed Cole, and Jeff Bowen's back with us here. The Sooner Athletic Conference Coach of the Year last year, Jeff Bowen, to my left. JB, it's Langston. We mentioned it with the players. The players have a pretty good feel for what Langston likes to do. Quentin Morgan, he's another good guy in the conference. He's got a lot of very good athletes, a dual-threat quarterback in Larry Harrington and Jakari Jackson. He's got a lot of dudes, and you guys will have to probably start this game a little quicker this week than you did a week ago in Goodwill.
Oh, I mean, there's no doubt about it. If we come out and play like we played in the first quarter against Goodwill, we'll be chasing an uphill battle. So we're not going to do that.
You were so high on the special teams, and of course they showed out against your previous opponent. That's going to be really key against Langston. Again, having that kind of production from the special teams, as you mentioned, flipping the field, that's got to be of paramount importance against an offense and a defense as good as Langston has.
It always is. We've had some knockdown dragouts with those guys, and special teams are always going to be key. And there's not one thing that's going to sway the game one way or the other. It's not going to be some one magical play. Most games are never won in that fashion. It's doing the ordinary things exceptionally well. If we do that, if we focus in this week and just do the little things, take the cliche, one play at a time. That for us, it's that right now means everything mentality. Then it should be a heck of a game, and we'll give ourselves a chance to win.
Coach, when you just talk about the spirit, maybe in the third quarter, maybe there might have been a couple helmets down, but again, that's why we echo this. You play 4 quarters of football, and you coach them up to play 4 quarters of football, and your coaches do the exact same thing. And then this team has been around long enough that the personnel inside this room knows what's at stake here. So when the team's just a little bit on the off kilter, what turned that thing around, and then how much emotion and how much momentum are you able to take away from that?
Well, it's kind of the chicken or the egg thing. Does the change in plays create the emotion, or does the emotion create the change in the plays? Hard to say, but I know one thing: execution kind of takes care of both.
It does.
Yes, you're a lot more excited when you're executing well, and that usually leads to, production, and that's the key, I'll be you got to come play. If you're going to play us, you're going to play us for 4 quarters. We're going to stay in the game. Anybody that's played us knows that we can rip off 21, 31 points real quick. Mm-hmm. And you better be ready to play for 4 quarters. Our guys aren't going to quit.
That's a fact.
And that's why we've had the success we've had. We're 3-3 against these guys. We've won conference championships. They've won conference championships. It's been a rival that started the first year, when we played them the first time in 2015, and I don't expect anything different. It's going to be a knockdown dragout.
The 7th meeting against Langston will be where the rubber meets the road kind of game. It's the tiebreaker, as you mentioned, 3-piece. You beat them last time. You have a little bit on them from last year. Beat them 27-10, so you got that feeling. And then here we go, Ed.
Yeah. Just going on the road, adversity is something, Coach. It really helps you learn about your football team. It helps you learn about yourself as a head coach and the adversity that you faced and how the team fought back and didn't get down on itself. You mentioned how they fight for 60 minutes. They're never going to give up. Adversity it's something that can really mold a football team, or it can destroy a football team. But luckily in this case, it did not. It molded the football team on Saturday, and it should hopefully serve you well for Langston. It should you get into some adverse situations in Oklahoma again.
Yeah, I mean. This week there are 98 or 100 whatever NAIA football teams that are going to play, and there's probably about 25 to 30 of them that are actually playing for something, other than just playing out their schedule. And we're one of those 25 to 30. So we've given ourselves a chance, so we have to take advantage of that. And who better to do it against than the team that you've been butting heads with for the last, since 2015 when we joined the league with them.
I kind of get the idea you wouldn't have it any other way, JB.
Of course.
No doubt about that. When we look at the idea that Louisiana College upset Langston, where were you when you picked up on that news? And then that had to give you a little little mojo just to hear that too a little bit, right?
It was after the game. We always, as guys are in the shower, and we check scores, and we saw it. And to be honest, I wasn't surprised that Langston had trouble with Louisiana College. I mean, they have athletes.
They do. Yes.
They have some athletes, and you know, I don't know what was in Langston's head, but they were just coming off the big win against Ottawa, and then they're going on the road, and like I said, 7 ranked teams went down on Saturday. So, yeah, you got and our league has gotten so much better. The Sooner Athletic Conference is getting better by the minute. I mean, you just look at the quality of players, and look at it's not just one team on top. There's 5 or 6 teams that right now that could be considered in contention and those kind of things. So our league is tough and getting better. And you got to come to play. It's cliche, but you got to come to play every Saturday, or you're going to get an L hung on you. So I love it. It's every week's a playoff game. You got to get after it every week.
There's something about playing, with your feet to the fire like that, right? Where you've just got to. There's no tomorrow at this point in the season for anybody amongst those top 30 programs that you just mentioned right there. You got to continue to win on and continue with that winning way to present that resume, and hopefully, with the dominoes fall the right way, you'll be in one of those top 20. And this time, ACU can break down the door. Maybe, and the conference title is still wide open, Coach. It is wide open. But if that wasn't there, this team should be prepared and should have a strong enough resume to get in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, and we could sit and go through all that. I mean, the bottom line is we're lining up against the Lions of Langston, and it's going to be a heck of a football game. And if we win that, then we'll talk about other stuff. But, yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of our conference. I mean, you look top to bottom, Langston, Ottawa, us, Texas Wesleyan, SAGU. There's 5 teams right there that are tough. And then, Louisiana just pulled off an upset. The Lions pulled off upsets in the past. Wayland Baptist has been one of the top teams in the last couple of years. Texas College is back, because they didn't play last year because of COVID, so they're getting their stuff straightened up and everything like that. So top to bottom, our league is tough, and that's the beauty of football. And no knock on any other sport, but what other sport do you get a limited amount of chances to play, and then let's say you could go 8-2 and win 80% of your games and be on the outside looking in. That's the uniqueness of football, and I wouldn't have it any other way. That's why I've been doing it for 35 years.
Coach Harris has probably got the tour buses ready to go. You guys already have your plans in place. How will the week of practice go for you? And what will be the preparation that leads up to you guys' departure here on Thursday or Friday?
We'll leave Thursday night.
Thursday,
we'll have 2 really solid practices. A little longer practice, not longer, but our normal practice times are on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday we'll have an early practice because we want to get on the buses and get out of town and do our thing on the road. I personally love road trips. I mean, I get to coach football for a living and travel around the country. So with these guys, so it's a blast, and we're going to be we'll have the guys ready.
When you start seeing signs, Coach, flashing all around, we've got bills to pay. The Tower Grill's used for another event here in 20 minutes. We got to wrap this thing up, bud.
Yeah, well, hey, tune in, watch it online, or take the trip out to Langston. It should be a heck of a Saturday night.
Coach, I know Ed and I will be geeked up for you guys. I know our fan base, our global community that watches the Firestorm, everybody that follows ACU football and ACU athletics all across the board. We'll be checking that game out. That is marquee football comes Saturday afternoon. That's for darn sure.
Absolutely.
Should be fun. Thanks, guys.
That's it for the Storm Report. For a special thank you to Robert Nielsen and, of course, our guy, Tim Gosen, Craig Martin IV, Ryan Vanderwerf, and the front man of the organization, Mr. Jeff Bowen, and my broadcast partner, Ed Cole. Until next time, so long for now.